Hi, welcome back to the channel. This week we're looking at percussion and specifically open hat patterns. I'm studying a new track and I want two things from it. I want it to have a very strong percussion foundation, and also I want lots of worldly music, atmospheric elements to it. But that's a topic for another video. For today, it's just the percussion element. And what do I mean by that? Well, basically I don't want this. You know, just the typical open hat on the offbeat and a snare, and then a closed hat. There's nothing wrong with that. The majority of my tracks are actually just that. But this one I want to mix it up a bit and, like I said, add a bit of groove with the percussion. So let's have a look here. We have our open hat. Nothing special. Every offbeat as you'd expect. And here we just have a single closed hat. I left that just so I can show you the process. Let's duplicate this out 4 times. Now, it's debatable whether we have one on the offbeat. You'll see a lot of videos that do have it, and you'll also see a lot of videos who don't have it. Personally, I'm of the view to exclude it, and the reason for that is because we have an open hat already in that space, and essentially you're doubling up on those frequencies. It's completely not needed in my view. And in fact, let's put it back, and we're going to duplicate this 4 times, and we'll just play back a bar here. Listen to it with it in, and then we'll take it out. I don't know about you, but it adds very little to the drive, having it in, and it also creates potential phasing issues by doubling up on that hat. So let's leave it out. But like I said, if you prefer the sound of having it in, well, so be it, that's fine. Now let's add a bit of groove to this pattern. We have the kick here, so let's put that down low. We don't want too much of a hat there. Then we want it to rise up in energy for the next one, and then we'll bring it down on the 3rd hat. Let's have a listen to this one. We'll just play back 1 beat. I think that's working, so now we have that. Let's duplicate that out. We'll go to 4 bars. Perfect. Now we're getting to the fun stuff. So let's duplicate our open hat. Now this is the one that's going to add the groove to it, essentially like a ghost hat. Let's just call this groove. I don't know what else to call it. And then we'll start with 1 bar just to keep things under control. And let's start to draw in our pattern here. Now as a groove, that's going to work, but it is sounding very machine gun-like. There's too many of them essentially. And the reason for that is because we don't have any differentiation between the main hat and the groove hat. We could, if we wanted to, we could change the sample. And there's 2 ways to go there. You can change it dramatically, but you need to make sure that the two are aligned in sound, if that makes sense. You need to make sure that they get along with each other, essentially. Or you can make it quite close. Or even, like I'm doing now, make it the exact same sound, but just potentially play with the attack, which I'm doing here. And let's also just change some velocities here so it's not so, like I said, not so machine gun repetitive like. And we can also play with this EQ as well, just to take out quite a lot more of that low end. Once again, just to give it some distinction, like I said, between the main open hat. Let's move on to our 2nd bar now. And in fact, let's listen to the first one so we know where we're kind of starting, where we expect the next hat to land. Once again, let's start it here so we're not confusing the listener. And then we could potentially go maybe here. No, it's going to be too many. Let's put it here. That's working. Let's go on to the third one now. Once again, let's put it here, and then we'll also put one here. The trick is to not overdo it, because don't forget we already have the drive from the closed hats. So with that said, I think I might remove that one. And then we're moving into the last bar of our 4-bar loop. So we want this one to be a bit more packed. Well, let's not use the word packed, but let's have some more elements here. We'll have some more hits, because you still want to give it space, but just a little bit more. Now let's close it off with one here. Let's see how that sounds. And we'll play back the full 4 bars. And maybe give a bit of a roll here perhaps before this snare. Also, one thing I forgot to mention, you'll notice I'm not putting any on the third hit, and that's obviously because we have our main open hi-hat there, so there's no point, essentially. We're placing these around the one on the offbeat, i.e. the first 2 or the 4, but never the third. And let's also turn down the volume just a little bit. So there we have it. I think that is working. It's going to give it some ample groove, but also maintain the drive. And you notice also, we put in this little bit of a roll here at the end of the 4, and you notice that that now adds a bit of a signal that we're turning around into the next 4 bars. So let's listen to it again, and let's listen to how it signals the incoming next bar at the end of the 4. So you know straight away that something's coming in this section. So now will be a riser or something like that. Then there'll be a new element, but it's giving the listener a hint that something's about to change. So that's it. Hope you found that helpful. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.